Hello, and welcome. My name is Gina Dallison, and this gorgeous lady is,
Claire Fox,
and together we are talking
everything
everything
MS.
MS. And today, purely by coincidence, actually, we find ourselves in a very similar position with regarding to our vehicles. And we have both have adaptations to our vehicles, our driving mobile, our car. So we are using hand controls rather than foot controls. And it ain't as easy as I thought it was going to be.
Not at all. Not at all. Yeah. But if you think about it, Gina, how long have you driven as an, should we say, as an able-bodied person? How long, when did you
Well,
pass your
I
test?
passed my test, I think, when I was about 19. I'm now 53.
Yeah. Okay. So it's been a
So,
while.
yeah, it's been a while. And just so you know, I've never loved driving.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so it's never been my thing. Even though I've driven all that time, I wouldn't say I was ever a super confident driver. Then, of
Okay.
course, I had my incident with the car
Hmm.
where I drove it into the river,
Yeah.
so I haven't actually been behind the wheel for coming up to, well, in October it'll be 2 years. So it's like, a good 18 months, a good
I
18,
thought it was a
19, 20
year.
months. Yeah,
Oh,
no.
darn it.
So, so I've just had my second lesson. Um, And while I feel a little bit more confident, I'm nowhere near it. And especially because the vehicle I've now got out the front of my house is a brand new, shiny, res, beautiful looking Mazda, which is gorgeous, but very intimidating. I was always a old banger type of girl. Oh, look, it's got scratches and dents in already. Perfect. So a shiny red new machine is really not my not my vehicle
Yeah,
of choice, I'd say.
there's a lot of things going on there, isn't there? So there's first of all, you've not been driving for 18 months.
Hmm.
Nearly 2 years. You've got this brand new shiny car, which don't know if you're like me, it feels like a tank. And then
I
we've
don't
got
even
these
know what it feels like because I
adaptations.
haven't even driven it yet.
Okay, okay. And then the adaptations, there's a lot going on.
Yeah,
Isn't
yeah,
there?
yes.
Can I ask you about your process? Because I think your process might have been different from mine. So
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing because I think mine was a little bit disjointed and wasn't the proper process, if I'm honest with you. This is definitely for anybody that's going down an adaptation route. Did you go to an assessment centre and get assessed?
I did. Wonderful chaps that assessed me, really, really good guys. And went out in a car that had, from what I can remember, because my memory is not that great, because this was back in March, a stick to the side of me that I could push and pull to accelerate. Now, this is the first time I've ever done this, and I'm going, oh, not too sure about this, and a button on the steering wheel. And then, um, and I'd heard about an overring, which is a ring that goes over the steering wheel that you push to accelerate on there, and then you still have I think you still have a stick at the side of you to brake. And then I think we took the button off for that. So I drove for possibly 20 minutes with the push pull stick that was next to me on my right hand side. That's important because I'll tell you something else. And then the overring I liked, which I drove for maybe 10 minutes. Okay, so this is a massive, massive change. I spent more time trying on my wedding dress. I'd try on longer buying a pair of shoes. I'd go back and I'd probably go back again. I wouldn't because I haven't got the energy for that in my head. I would.
Yeah.
So then time was passing on because then I applied for a grant because this was going to cost over £1,000. I had somebody come to the house and he said, "Oh no, you don't have to have the stick on that side. You can have it on the left hand side." And I thought that's going to sit better for me. That so that's what I was going with. And then I kept hearing about this man called Jeff Gosling, who has this company for adapting cars. Turns out he lives, well, not him. His company is really local to me. So I went in and I just said, "Can you show me what options I have?" Because as far as I'm aware, they were the only options I had. And there was this stick that went at the side of the steering wheel, which is it's not that high up, it's just that where my computer is. It's a bit further down. So you pull to accelerate and you push to brake, still have a button on, and the accelerator pedal can flip up when I'm driving it, but flips back down for when my husband's driving it. So it's all fine for an able-bodied person, both can drive it. So long story short, well, I could have paid £700 and had the car I had adapted, because it's a Motability car, or I could spend £50 and get a brand new car and have the car adapted. Let me think. Hang on. So, got the new car, went to another adaptation place, and she said, oh, no, 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 no. Lovely girl. She said, you don't need the ring accelerator. That's only people who have trouble with their arms, strength in their arms, and I've got good strength in my arms. So I went, okay. But this other guy that had been to talk about the thing on the left-hand side, that's all out the window now, because I've seen this little thing. But the new car I get, as wonderful as it is incredible. It costs a fortune. It has to be automatic because it's electric. And the gear change is like a remote control just at the side of the steering wheel that you change there. You change it push it one way for drive, the other way for reverse. Whereas in the previous car, it was all to the left of me. So I've got this gear change thing and the push-pull accelerator next to each other. And it's like, so yeah. And I said all along, it is like patting your head and rubbing your tummy. And I haven't had any lessons. So this is interesting. And I've been Motability, as much as Motability are wonderful, and I'm very thankful for them. Different information from different people.
Well, this is it. Well, I got some advice. So I was working with there's a guy that I know that is fully in a wheelchair who runs a charity called Peer Advisory Support Services, and he sort of supported me in getting my PIP to getting my full mobility. So he came with me to the tribunal and helped me through that process. And he sort of gave me some advice with regarding to the adaptations. And so I received my PIP. I didn't know about the assessment centre. Nobody talked about the assessment centre at all. I'd spoken to somebody when I went to the NAIDEX show about Motability. So I spoke to a Motability woman there. And to be honest, I was like, although it's very, it curtails your freedom not having a car. Was I missing driving? And I was getting people to drive me places, and that was all nice. And yeah. But then it turns out that my son, so my youngest son now has started his driving lessons. So when he passes his test, I can put him on my car insurance and I don't have to pay the insurance, which is because everyone says, and I don't know how much it costs, but well, for insurance for anybody, it's expensive. But when they're young, it's really expensive. So it felt like a bit of a no-brainer. Come on, Gina, time to get your car. So what did I do? We'd already looked. Lee had helped me look through all the different cars on the Motability thing. I know I wanted a younger driver. I knew sort of what I wanted. So we'd sort of found the car that we were looking at. So then I went to the Mazda garage and have a look at it. And then they started the process. So they filled in the form for me. We were going to get the adaptations and it was interesting you talk about the Jeff Gosling, because I think that's what I've got.
Oh.
I think that's what I've got, because that's what Lee had on here. So I've got a knob on the steering wheel that I steer with my left hand, and then it is a push for brake, pull for accelerate.
Can I just interrupt? Is that like a big stick that comes from the floor to do it, or is it like me, just a little stick next to the steering wheel?
It's a little stick next to the steering wheel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think it is the same, and it's got a and you can press the indicators on that button as well, and a horn as well, I think, and I don't know, there's other bits I haven't quite sussed out yet. But it wasn't until, so by this point, the car was now been made. It's at the showroom, and we're sending it down to the adaptation place to get the hand adaptations. They then tell me, oh, what about going to the assessment centre? And I was like, what assessment centre is that then? So I phoned up the assessment centre, and the waiting list to have an assessment was something like 3 months. And I was like, well, if it was the beginning of the process, maybe, plus the fact I want to go on holiday in August, taking the kids camping. I still don't know if I'm going to be doing that, if I'm honest with you. But that was, and it was like, really? So I spoke to Lee. He said, "No, you do, because we've already chosen." He goes, "I think they're the best ones for you. Let's just go with that." So we sort of skipped that part of it, if you like. So I haven't been assessed, but then the hand adaptation place said, "Well, we've got somebody that can give you lessons. Would you, it might be a good idea if you get some lessons on it." So in my head, I thought, yeah, easy peasy. I'll have a lesson. It'll be fine. It's like riding a bike. You just jet back on again. Though I don't know if I could get back on a bike right now, to be fair. So, so yes. So I've sort of gone a little bit backwards, forwards, and nobody told me until I was in the lesson with her that I had to tell the DVLA that I've got hand adaptations. The Motability didn't tell me. Mazda didn't tell me. Hand control people didn't tell me. Thank goodness the the instructor did, because otherwise I wouldn't be covered on my insurance anyway.
So this is, and I don't want this to be a complaint, but maybe it needs to be a complaint. Because both of us are very grateful that we can have this, these adaptations and the Motability car. Truly grateful, but it's not, like I say, it's not obvious, and there's some folk who know one thing and some folk who know another thing, and just going back to me regarding the grant, I was told if your circumstances have changed, then you'll get a grant, and it turns out that I'd have to pay £2,000 towards it. I work 15 hours a week. I'm not rich yet. But do you know what I mean? And it's all very confusing, and it needs to be a little bit more slick, I think, to go through
it
it.
is very confusing, and I'm still quite confused, if I'm honest with you. So I need to speak to the DVLA. I need to speak to Motability as well. I've got
Why do you need to speak to Motability?
I'm not sure. I think I do need to speak to them. Okay. Oh, because the other thing as well that my driving instructor said, because now I've got this car, so let's presume that we've fast forwarded to the place where I can actually drive, and I'm confident doing that. So if I go uptown, I can park in the car park, but then I'm stuck because because I haven't got a wheelchair. I can walk, but not if I want to carry any shopping. And I've got a what's it called, a mobility scooter, but I can't manage to get I mean, it is a put downable, so if my son comes with me, or an able-bodied person, we can get it in and out the boot. But me doing it myself, and apparently you can get cars with hoists in that then just lift it up and down. So have you got one of those? No. But that's a whole nother thing which I sort of vaguely knew about, but then I didn't ask. So actually, if I want to be fully independent, I either need a wheelchair, and I'm still on I've been waiting 2 years to get a wheelchair from the wheelchair people. I've had someone come round and measure me up for a wheelchair. This was in January. I'm still waiting for somebody to prescribe me a wheelchair. And I chased them up last week because I just thought, well, actually, if I could get a wheelchair that was easy enough so I could manage it myself. Or the other thing that maybe I could try is one of those walkers. I don't know if you've tried one of them. Have you got one of them?
I did have one. I'm not sure where it is, but I remember being in hospital last year, and I was given what could be known as a Zimmer frame. That's how I remember them. That's what my nan used to call it. I don't know what they're called now. Oh, my life, that was a dream. And I thought, oh, yeah.
And that had brakes and stuff, did it? And
no, it's just a basic NHS one. But oh, my life, it was incredible. But that's like another thing for you to think about, perhaps another time. But just going back to the car, what is it that you're struggling with driving? Which part?
I think I'm just scared.
And that's okay. That's all right, my love.
And I think I've always been quite scared of driving, really, but it's you sort of get in and do it, don't you? Because and now, like I say, because it's so bloody new and shiny, it just so I sat in it earlier. I drove it out and in. Of course, now it's it's got full cameras at the back so I can see where I'm going. I've never had that before in a car. But even like getting to know the car, it's so I think maybe, getting to it's a brand new car, it's new to me. So, you know, I'm just so I did it a couple of times where you have to put the brake on because it's an automatic, and I have driven automatics before, so I sort of know how it works. But my automatic was an old one, with an old, this handbrake puts on itself, or does it? I'm not sure, and switches off itself, the handbrake, and then you've got the cruise control as well once you're down the motorway. But that's a whole other thing, and yeah,
That's something to worry about, yeah.
yeah. So it's just, yeah, I need to sort out the DVLA, and then I'm legal to drive it, and then maybe just go round my local estate and go backwards and forwards round the corners, and yeah.
That's what we did. David and I did. So yesterday was 3 weeks since I got it. And it is, see, I was a confident driver. I used to drive 200 miles to work when I was an international stewardess. Extraordinaire. I used to drive 200 miles on the motorway and loved it. I've always loved driving. It's not a problem for me. But I understand if you're not confident, then this is going to be more difficult. And don't forget, Gina, you're on the back of a very bad accident since you last drove a car.
Yeah,
A very bad accident. And you've not been in a car since driving.
not
So
been
that
driving
makes a
since,
lot of
no.
sense.
Yeah,
Add
I
it
guess
up.
so.
And it makes a lot of sense. And now, like you say, you used to bangers. Yeah, I was totally. And now there's this shiny car that's like
What sort of car did you
perfect.
get?
Hyundai Kona, which I had before, but this one feels so much bigger.
Yeah, does
And
it?
yeah, and uh, it's like having kangaroo juice in the car as well. It's like loads of this, loads of back and forth, and yeah, loads of kangaroo juice. But that's getting a little bit easier.
It's getting
Don't
better.
actually have enough hands to thank somebody who's let you go, or
No, I know. Well, it's something I'd heard that before, that actually, yeah, you can't do that. And there's a lot of thanking and being grateful. And
big
yeah,
smiles. Get
sorry,
thanks,
as I'm
thanks
going
over the
super slow round the roundabout, and then stopping because I've pushed it forward instead of pulling it back. And
yeah. There's that one. Yeah. And then a huge panic because you've gone the wrong way, thinking you were going one way and you're going the other. So I think something like an industrial estate, or another good one is always B&Q car park. If you've
yeah,
got one near you, they're
car
good
park.
ones to
Well, my
drive around.
estate's quite nice because there's not, especially if I go out during the day,
Yeah.
there's not many cars about, and I can just have a little practice around here. And of course, I am also very lucky because my brother is a driving instructor, so bless him. So this lady who gave me lessons, she lives about an hour away from where I live. So I'm in Rugby in Warwickshire. So she cleared me a space for this afternoon, but she says you'll need to get to Birmingham. So I was like, who can I ask on a Saturday afternoon in the middle of bloody July to spend 4 hours out of their Saturday to drive me to an Asda car park so I can go on a 2 hour driving lesson? So thank you, brother, dearest, who takes me over there and then sits in the lesson with me as well so he can see what's going on.
Great.
So because he can then potentially, if it's something he wants to, add on to his sort of, thing that he could do, but also he gets an idea that actually, but what she's got in her car is an extra pedal. So she can, if she needs to hit the brakes, and she did a couple of times. Was it once or twice? So then it's like, yeah, am I actually safe to go out on the roads? Don't really feel it very much, especially if I've got my children in the car with me as well.
Okay.
So yeah, and my dog.
Yeah, but I'm sure you'll be driving a bit more before you're taking the kids and the dogs out with you.
Well,
You
hopefully, yeah. Well, yeah, like I said, I would. We want to go camping in the second week of August, so I've got some.
can I ask, so say I hope it doesn't things go a little bit crazy. Could you still use your foot to put the brake on? Or is it not moving?
Um, I suppose I could. I suppose I could. And interestingly enough, I'm legal to drive my car without the adaptations. So that's what it's all like. That doesn't even make any sense. But yeah, my and it's interesting because even though I'm using the hand adaptations, my right foot's still lifting up and down. It's like got muscle memory, hasn't it? And it's just going for it. And it you use so many more muscles as well. Yeah.
Um, but that foot going up and down does stop quite quickly.
Does it?
Yeah. But I'm wondering, I'm no expert, so I don't know. Do you drive as an able-bodied person for a while to get your confidence back up?
I don't know if my legs. No, I don't think so. No,
No,
I
I
don't think
can't.
so.
So I have tried, but I can't. So yeah. It's all happened
I
quite quickly with me as well, which
Is
is a
it?
worry. Yeah.
So you know what's your mobility like then? Are you what are you using to get about when you're not in your car?
A stick and a husband.
Yeah, so something either side of you.
Mhm.
Yeah,
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 yeah. Yeah. Okay. Excuse me. So then this is the future, isn't it? The adaptations. If you're
yeah.
going to continue driving.
If I'm going to continue driving, yeah. So now as you know, and this car isn't free. I've had to, I've had to put 2 grand down. It's more money than I've ever spent on a car before because it's the one that I sort of wanted, if you like. But I don't know if I thought about it in more depth. It's like really, yeah, yeah. But I've spent
Did
it
I
now.
say before that I only paid £50 towards this car? Did I say that?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't
I,
remember. Only because I was due £250 back that I should have paid £300 towards it. Because I was mid-contract as well, so I was a bit different in that sense.
oh,
So
okay.
it
So
should have
you
been
already
300.
had one, did you? You already had a
Yeah,
Motability car.
yeah. So I would have had to put down £300, but I was getting £250 back. So therefore I forked the other 50 out. So yeah, I mean 2 grand's a lot, darling.
Yeah, it's more than I've ever spent on a car before.
But you can put like £5,000 down for it. It was a lovely Audi that I saw, and I went, don't have that 5,000.
No, no, no.
Hence why I'm driving this. Hence why I'm driving this car. Which I'm again grateful for. So, what can you do to build your confidence in driving this adapted car?
That's a very good question, Claire Fox. Thank you very much for
Thank
being
you,
there.
Dee.
Yeah. So I think I can visualize. I can see myself because now I know the controls, don't I? I can see myself. I've sat in it. I've sat in. I'm getting to know her. She's I don't want to be intimidated by her. I want to, us to be in harmony and to be friends and have a good time together. So little steps, I think. Definitely positive affirmations. Because if I keep telling myself, I'm not a very confident driver, I'm not very good at driving, I don't really like driving very much, it's not actually going to help. So I think, yeah, some nice deep breathing exercises. And I've been doing that generally anyway. But I think definitely it's yeah, I'm going to love driving this car. It's going to be so much fun, and see myself taking her out and just having adventures and getting to know her little ways. And she's a brand new car, she's got everything working. They do it all these days, don't they? It's like got a little computer that tells me where I'm going and tap into my phone, and not that I've sorted that bit out yet. So all these little bits and pieces I can do while she's sitting on the drive, and just
Okay.
have some, yeah, learn to love her a bit more, I think. um
So, can you think of a step you could do from sitting here to actually driving? I can see something in my head, but I'm wondering if you can think of something that you could do just to get the
step.
confidence up. Like, I think there's a step between you sitting where you're sat now and driving the car that to build your confidence, to make you more aware of her and how she works?
So I could read the little book that comes with it. Yeah, I know. I've tried to do that a little bit. I am going to have a go at because my son's training to do his theory, so I'm going to go through my theory and get a bit more road aware as well, because it's been, like you said, it's been a while since I've actually been on the road, so just get myself a little bit more so I'm a safer driver anyway, without the, you know, the adaptations, and just a better driver than maybe, and just assume that actually this ickiness that I'm going through at the moment is going to just expand me into who I am going to become, which is a safe and happy driver. But in
Confident as
answer to
well.
your question, I don't know. What would you thinking? What's my step?
You go and sit in the car.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Go and sit,
that's what I did earlier. Just sit there and get
have
to
a
know her.
play. And has it got that lovely new car smell? See, there's nothing wrong
Yeah,
with that, is there?
yeah, absolutely,
Lush,
absolutely. Oh
lush.
God, and her wheels are so shiny and black because of course she's barely been out. She's so
So you just sitting in there, getting yourself comfortable, how it feels, and
yeah,
playing with things on the screen or whatever you're doing, and on the screen, and
yeah.
learn a bit of
Go out
that.
for my virtual drive.
Yeah,
Yeah, play
yeah,
some music. Get my top tunes on.
yeah,
Listen to my Audible.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
no, not necessarily, because I always got music on in the car, but at first I couldn't. I
No,
just, but
because
while
well, you want to be mindful, don't you? It's no, you're right. I
but
certainly don't want
so
to push it
focused,
forward.
so focused. But if you're just sitting on the drive, then that's fine. While you're getting to know the car and how it feels and how the steering feels and how the
Yeah.
push pull accelerator and the gear change and all this business, and just perhaps one step.
Does your indicators switch themselves off when you go around the
Yeah,
corner? That's a pain in the butt, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. So you have to be aware of that as well.
That's an
I've
extra
had,
thing.
yeah, I've had a few beeps, a few angry beeps, like what you're doing, and I'm like, oh, sorry, sorry,
But
I
then
have
you
that
can't
on
even
you.
say that because you've got your hands on the wheel, and it's like, yeah.
Yeah,
Because I did think about putting the green P plates on, but my driving instructor says, like to say newly passed, isn't it? And newly passed, to just sort of point it out to people that actually, yeah,
back off.
yeah. But she said, I don't know, her advice was maybe not, because some people just get more arsy when they see them. She says it's a lot of drivers out there are not very nice.
Consider it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, I know. Well, hey, that's something for you to think about and what you want to do. I mean, take your driving instructor's advice, obviously, but what makes you feel better?
Mm.
And I think as well, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves because you've been driving all these years, Gina. So, you just
Yeah.
get in the car and yeah, it's a bit different. It's like getting a new car. You have to learn the new car. No, this is quite different.
Yeah, it's a lot different, and that's quite humbling in itself, isn't it? That's quite okay. And I don't know if you saw on my social media, but in fact, I wonder if I've got it here because it's worth a share. Just to let me see if I can find it. Where did I put it? Where did I put it, Gina? It's just a little visual that explains what happens when we learn something new. What's it called? Learning something new.
Just while you're looking for that, one
Yeah,
thing I thought that this would benefit me because my cognitive skills aren't great. I thought me learning something new would help with my cognitive skills, I think.
definitely. It
Yeah.
definitely. Oh, I know where it is. Find it.
Yeah.
Sorry, people. Sorry, viewers. But also, I'd heard somewhere. So anybody with MS, that when you go through the cycle, and when I show you the picture, I'll explain it. But when we learn something new, we start off with and it's called unconsciously incompetent. We don't know what we don't know. So we're sitting there thinking, oh, this would be great, this would be easy, exactly where I was, not a problem at all. And then you actually go into it and you become consciously incompetent when you realize, oh, there's a lot more to this than meets the eye, and it's bloody hard.
But
And
please remember as well, I don't like saying this, but it's harder for us to learn, and we have to be told things over and over and over again because of the lesions on our brain and spine and things. So
right, okay, let me just share my screen with you, and because this picture shows it really well. So this is learning something new. So here we are at the beginning. Yeah, let's do this. And we want to jump from one side to the other. And then here I am now in this bit. Wow, this is a lot harder. And then, oh my God, how can I? And it's in this place here, this this consciously incompetent, where we realize, oh my God, this is really hard. And whether you're driving, whether you're learning an instrument, whether you're learning a language, whether you are, just, I don't know, learning a computer packet, any new skill, you are going to go through this process. And it's in this process here is a lot of the time when people give up because you just think, oh my God, it's too hard. And don't get me wrong, it has crossed my mind, but I'm not there yet. I'm not giving up. But also I read somewhere, and I can't tell you where I read, but it says in this place where we're learning this scary sort of place, but we're putting the steps in place to actually put it together. That's myelin can repair when you're doing that stuff.
Oh, let's learn lots.
Well, this is it. So I don't know how true it is. Like I said, I read it somewhere and I'm not even sure where it actually came from. It might be absolutely rubbish, but it sort of makes sense, doesn't it? That actually you're thinking when you're putting new neurons in your head when you're learning something new, they're taking new pathways.
Yeah,
So it
what's
would
the
make
word?
sense to actually learn to take more time out learning something new. But then, of course, we get to the point, we keep going and we keep practicing and we keep trying. And when, it doesn't work out, we pick ourselves up and we carry on. And then we slowly put the steps together. And then at some point or other, it clicks, doesn't it? It changes from, I don't know what I'm doing to, oh, actually, I'm quite comfortable. This is all right. I feel good. And then, so we go from being unconsciously incompetent to consciously incompetent to consciously competent. So we have to think about it, we have to work it. But eventually, and because you've driven before, and we all have, the muscle memory that takes over. And before we know it, we're going from A to B and we can't even remember what we actually did to get there. So this is a lovely little diagram just to remind you that if you're learning something new or feeling like you can't get through, you're stuck in this dip somewhere, we will get through it. We will get through to the other side.
Do you know what it reminds me of? When I started the job that I'm in now, in October, it'll be 2 years, but at first just didn't get it.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think I was starting with a flare up when I began, and I carried on and on and on. And I could not get it. I was working this new job, I'm working for the NHS. My previous job I'd done for 7 years, new inside out and everything. But I thought, I'm never going to get it, never going to get it. And was so close to quitting so many times. But David said to me, no, just hang on in there. You'll get it. And I've got it. I mean, there's still lots to learn. And I compared the car to that because I was so close to quitting. And I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah.
So
we'll get through. We'll find it. I'll drive, even if it's I will. I'll get there. And
you will.
Yeah.
And so
will you, darling? So will you.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. And it's just quite interesting how literally, because we didn't plan this at all, did we? We both happened to be at pretty much the same spot at the same time with our new cars.
Weird.
So so everything MS and like all the challenges, bring them in, and we will. Every challenge makes you stronger, grows you a little bit more, and keeps you going.
Yeah. Keep going, everyone.